Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to have been able to join you this morning at least. And I've met with the DM. Fortunately, we meet with the DM regularly at MINMEC and other forums. I'm equally very happy that our traditional leadership is here. I usually meet with Morena when we talk agriculture and farming. So it's nice to see him in a different environment. He's one of our vocal supporters when it comes to our broader sector. So DDG, all of our senior officials, municipalities, our academic sector, private sector, our waste pickers, all of the important stakeholders who have made really this 3-day conference an interesting and stimulating conference. So I'm told every good host starts with gratitude, and we must thank the Department of Fishery, Forestries and Environment for bringing the conference and this opportunity for all of us to come together to the Free State. And we appreciate the participation of our mayor who has been here and our host municipality. There are challenges in Mangaung, and we all are aware of them. And I think those who participated in the site visits yesterday experienced it in different dimensions. I think what emerges so clearly is that no one has the ultimate solution when they think they can do this on their own. It is only by working together with all of our sectors, not only government and all of the different spheres. We cannot find solutions on our own. We do need our private sector partners. We need the waste pickers. We need the academic sector. We need everyone to really come together. Now, the conference theme is not just a banner. It's a practical call to action. It's a reminder that service delivery must be equitable, sustainability must be real, and the circular economy must be built through investment, planning, and implementation. We are very good at planning. We're very excellent at planning. And analyzing. We can analyze a problem to death. And we all understand the dimensions. But where is our skill in finding solutions, in making sure that we implement has impact? 30 years later, we are still talking about how we must collaborate. We should have made more progress by now. I like this last commission because they are practical and they are not scared to say, we need a waste management grant. Why don't we have a waste management grant? We have grants in agriculture, not sufficient, but they are there. We have grants in education, health, name any sector. Every year, National Treasury has, they call it 10 by 10 MINMECs. They call it all the health departments, they focus on health. They call all of the education departments, they focus on education. Have they ever called environmental affairs? I doubt. Have they ever called agriculture? No. Have they called economic development sectors? No. It is not a short-term exercise, but the national budget is so overwhelmed by our social pressures in the health and education and social welfare sector that there's very little money left for the rest of us. So increasingly we sustain this thing of being grant dependent, where most of our households survive purely because of some kind of grant. And that is a picture we have to change, but we will not change it if we do not start working out a firm plan on how to get there. We have been told a lot about all of these funding opportunities that climate change is bringing. We know about green economy, financing facilities, but what does it practically mean for us? Is there a province or a metro that has taken the initiative and say, let's use this opportunity and make it real, make it impactful? We hear that there is a JEF project that's going to start in Letsemeng, and they're talking hundreds of millions and billions. But no one has consulted us. So the loop between the different stakeholders needs to improve. We need to get far more practical. Now, the first day was also the day of global recycling. And I think the message is so clear that what we do in our rural areas, in our villages, our small towns, our metros, it makes a difference. It matters. It matters to a global scale. So not one single contribution is too small to really make impact. The first 2 days I can hear these encouraging signs and there is sobering signs. Encouraging is that you have been more than 400 delegates in this session, combining those who participated virtually, who are here physically, including exhibitions and so on. But sobering is that our problems are still systemic. They are recurring, they're interconnected, and they demand coordinated solutions. We heard across presentations common areas that every province is grappling with: waste collection coverage and backlogs, landfill licensing and compliance, designation of waste management officers, integrated waste management plans, waste diversion and recycling initiatives, capacity building and funding constraints. We heard very clearly that while urban areas tend to have higher service coverage, rural and peri-urban areas continue to experience significant backlogs, and informal settlements remain a persistent challenge. And we also heard about the practical constraints of aging fleets, limited specialized vehicles, and the ongoing need for sustainable cost recovery. And I must say, I've not heard anyone talking about what happens to waste on farms. I think it's an area that we need to begin to think about. We also confronted one of the most urgent realities in our sector, namely the state of our landfill sites. Harsh reality is that the majority of our municipal landfill sites remain partially compliant or non-compliant, often with lapsed licenses, poor operational controls, limited engineering oversight, and systemic compliance constraints. This is exactly why today, the last day of the Goro, is a place where we diagnose the challenges, and we're also celebrating those who are already busy solving them. Now, last night, some municipalities and provinces who have demonstrated sterling work, not perfection but progress, not talk but delivery, not isolated interventions but programs that show the rest of us what is possible. We acknowledge and celebrate those achievements, not to make others feel small, but to make the whole system stronger through learning and replication. It's not just about awards. We are creating a standard and signaling what must become our new normal across the country. The conference program has moved beyond reporting and into solutions. We convened an open session and then entered commissions that run in parallel, focused on the real work of the sector. We heard the feedback from the different commissions today, and I am impressed that the resolutions that have been formulated, even coming raw from the commissions, already are well defined. There are time frames indicate not consistently, but many of them have time frames allocated to specific tasks and responsibilities. And I think the participation from the floor has been extremely interesting during the course of the morning. So allow me to highlight 4 messages that I believe should define the spirit of us going forward. The first would be that waste services are not optional. It's both a constitutional and a municipal mandate. The first day reflections remind us that we have strong policy frameworks, but that implementation gaps persist at local government level. And we cannot allow waste to be treated as a last-tier service. Waste is about public health, it's about dignity, it's about environmental justice. Secondly, infrastructure investment must be matched by capability. During the first 2 days, a lot was said about insufficient technical capacity, weak contract management, inadequate maintenance budgets, delays in key reports, and limited escalation of repeat non-compliance. Infrastructure without the right skills, governance, and operational discipline will not deliver sustainable results. That is why we must build municipal capacity through competent appointments, practical training, and professional support systems that do not collapse after project ribbon cutting. The circular economy must be treated as an economic opportunity. The first day noted a growing focus on recycling enterprises, buyback centers, beneficiation initiatives, and circular economy approaches that create jobs and supports. support SMMEs, but also highlighting challenges such as market access, transport costs, price volatility, and inconsistent integration of waste pickers. We must act deliberately to unlock the waste economy with stable partnerships, market development, and inclusive value change. I must make reference here also that waste pickers should not be regarded as a secondary job, as a tertiary job, as less than an office job. We have a similar example, for example, with herders in our livestock industry, where there is a focused program that we are participating in with University of the Free State that also aims to reverse the stigma that is attached to herders. Because there's a direct correlation between the quality of meat and wool, for example, of a sheep or a cattle, and the relationship with the herder. Those flocks of livestock, whether it's cattle or sheep, when the herder lives with them, they accept that herder as the leader. And it directly affects the quality of the livestock that we produce. But many young people especially have told us, I can't be a herder, I won't find a wife, I won't find a husband. Because it's seen like a lower class job. And that is the stigma we must break. Equally with waste pickers. It's not a low class or a lower level job in our society. It's a critical job. And we must move forward with pride and talk openly about the critical work that our waste pickers do. And it starts with each and every one of us. Appreciate the role that waste pickers play, instead of trying to chase them off or seeing them as a nuisance. So we must begin to talk openly about reversing the stigmas that we attach to certain jobs. A job creates value and dignity to any human being's life, and we must appreciate and value that across the board. Lastly, collaboration is not a slogan, it must be structured. Now, over the first 2 days and even this morning, the reflections capture the key messages about extended producer responsibility. It is a critical lever to reduce municipal burden, but there are coordination gaps, transparency concerns, and the need for structured collaboration between PROs and municipalities. We must move from fragmented effort to coordinated delivery with clear roles and accountability. Policy and practice must equally find expression in our district development models, which is our blueprint for integrated and coordinated planning and implementation, not only between different levels of government, but also between government, the private sector, civil society, and all other stakeholders. We need to set an example to communicate our vision, our norms, our standards, our guidelines and directives more effectively, to feed directly into the one plans throughout the country. I must speak directly also to last night's award recipients. To those who received awards last night, congratulations. Your work shows that improvement